Welcome to the Barber Hub podcast. I'm your host, Rick Hernandez, joined by a very, very special guest, Vic Morrow, founder and owner of Classic Barbers in Upland, California. Now, a lot of people can cut hair. I've taught a lot of people how to cut hair, but Vic is truly gifted. Like, there's something, he's got blessed hands. He's truly gifted as a hair cutter. I've seen a lot of hair cutters, but I haven't known a lot of, I could count on one hand the people that I would call gifted barbers, and I think all my friends who know Vic would agree. Vic is a truly gifted barber. He can make things happen. If you can get an appointment with him, by all means try to, but he is booked. I don't know anybody that works as much as you do in the barbering industry. Vic literally works like 100 hours a week. I'm not making this
80,
up.
80, yeah, I do work about 80 hours a week.
People might think I'm making this up. Like and he has not been doing this for a few months. He's been doing this for years.
Yeah.
4 years. I drive by sometimes like, is he really there at 10 o'clock? He's really there at 10 o'clock. Is he really there at 6 o'clock a.m.? He's really there day in and day out. I'm not going to tell you how much he charges. He charges way too little for what he does. He could triple his prices and probably be just as busy or more. Amazing barber. Vic and I go way back. Vic's been cutting hair longer than me, at least
19 years.
Yeah, at least like in a shop. I mean, we've both been cutting hair for a long time, but like in a shop, we go back to barber school, and I think Vic spent like 7 years in barber school or something like that.
8. Yeah, I tell people I'm a doctor. 8 years in school, so yeah.
Yep.
I took the long track.
Yeah, we were in the same class, and then we actually got our state board exam on the same day, and
Thankfully,
they put us
saved me.
they put us right by each other. And Vic, I actually did help Vic. Vic was a better hair cutter than me, but he had so many bad habits from working in the shop. It's like when you go get your driver's license, if you've been like driving illegally for too long, you're doing like California stops and all kinds of stuff that like failed. So Vic's over there, he's so comfortable. He's not even thinking about all the regulations of the state board exam. I'm like, hey Vic, and this is so
lock the chair.
I'm gonna lock the chair. I'm like, hey, close your quartz jar.
Yeah, barber side.
Yeah, your barber side. I'm gonna close that thing. They're gonna fail you. I'm a little bit greener. I'm all paranoid.
I know. I heard a stomp from across the room, and I'm like, "The heck's wrong with that guy?" I heard a stomp again. I look, and you're like, ugh. I'm like, "Oh shoot, let me lock this chair real quick."
Yeah, I was telling someone on another episode. I was telling them how we were talking about Roston Barber School, and they're like, I think they were asking me about the class. I'm like, I don't know, like. We didn't really go that much. Like, we just checked in, and it was me and Vic and Alex.
Yeah, Alex.
Remember Alex?
Yeah,
I got to get Alex on the show. We got to get Alex out here.
Oh, yeah. Heck
Alex, if you're listening, we got you.
come by.
He's way out in, like, Placentia now. But
Okay.
we were there. We would go check in. We'd go to that little Mexican restaurant, like the $3.99 breakfast.
The breakfast special.
Remember those fried potatoes? And, But people might think I'm being goofy, but that was the most valuable time I spent in the apprenticeship school, was getting to talk with people like you, and we were like hashing out what we liked about the shops we worked at, what we didn't like, what kind of vision we had for the shops we wanted to run someday, and we gleaned so much knowledge from each other because we came together. And this podcast is,
I was mostly learning from you, but
no, like you put me on a lot of stuff, but this podcast to me is almost like a rehashing of those sessions we had together of like, hey, we had a lot of valuable content. We should get that out. Like now we've been, what was that, like how many years ago was that? I don't know, 15.
Probably around there.
15 years ago, and a lot has happened since then. But those were good times.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, we had some good times.
Yeah.
I was gonna tell you, it's funny because I remember inviting someone to that meeting, and it's somebody who I used to work for, and it turns out, man, like he had been trying to tell me these things for years, before we had those meetings.
What meeting? At
Roston's, okay. And so I told him, hey, you should come to this meeting. We're talking about how we should be making barbershops better, and he was just like looking at me like, are you serious? Like, I've been trying to tell you these things for years, and he didn't listen. But yeah, no.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So tell me, for the people, like, tell us your story a little bit. How I know a lot of stuff, obviously, but the audience doesn't know. Like, how did you
Mhm.
get into barbering?
All right, yeah. So I think the first haircut I did was on a friend of mine, Eric Lewis, in high school. He was cutting his own hair, and so my mom cut hair, my grandfather cut hair. So I was
Oh,
like,
I didn't know.
well,
I knew you were second generation. I didn't know you were third
yeah,
generation.
my grandfather, he's from Mexicali. My mom said that he would cut hair like just as kind of like a side thing, just to make money. It wasn't like really his
Yeah.
profession. So yeah, I was like, all right, well, how hard could this be? So
Nice.
I tried cutting his hair, and I was like, it should be in my DNA. Wrong. It was terrible.
Uh,
Yeah, it was
well,
bad.
this whole time I was waiting for you to tell me, like, you knew you were blessed, like you were the
No,
anointed one, like you got in
heck
there and
no.
hooked him.
I had no idea what I was doing, and so I was like, man, how do they do it so nice at the shops? Like, all right, let me try. Maybe I should put a shoelace around your head, get the lines straight, and then we'll start trying to blend it. That didn't work. So
See, what people don't know, they're like, we learned how to cut hair before YouTube had all these tutorial
oh yeah,
videos.
TikTok, all
Now
that.
barbers learn how to cut hair in like 3 weeks.
Yeah, yeah, no, that's true. And now they could just spray on the hairline and all that. Yeah, so that's how I got started. I started cutting his hair, and then he was, our friends in high school.
How old were you at the time?
I believe 17. Yeah, I think
Okay,
I was 17.
nice.
Yeah, so our friends started hearing about me cutting hair, and I was like, well, yeah. I mean, they didn't really have money, and I didn't have anything to do, so I was like, all right, I'll do it.
Nice.
And so I started cutting people's hair that lived in the same apartment complex as me, and I think after that, in high school, I always knew I wanted to be a firefighter.
Okay.
So that was like my dream. I was an explorer for 4 years. I went to EMT school, like
Nice.
as a ROP, and
Is that where you met Felipe?
no, I met Felipe in barber
Oh,
school.
really?
After I realized I didn't want to be a firefighter, I did for all the wrong reasons. I was like, you know what? Firefighters get girls. Firefighters are buff. Like I'm gonna do that. Then I realized, nah, that's not really for me. And actually, who helped me realize that was what my math teacher in high school. He found out that I was in the ROP program for EMT, and he's like, Vic, you're gonna be an EMT. And he knew my grades and my freaking. He's like, I'll tell you what, man. If I get shot and you roll up in the ambulance, I'm just gonna drive myself to the hospital. And I was like, oh man. I was like, all right, you know
You know,
what?
people think that's cold, but that's actually, you need someone in your life to help redirect you. Say, hey,
Yeah,
you
for
might be,
sure.
you're looking down the wrong lane. Like,
Yeah, and that's when I was like, you know what? I'm not doing it because I want to do it. I'm just doing it for like the wrong reasons. So I didn't know
hmm
what else to do. I went to barber school. I was like, I'll just do this in the meanwhile. I fell in love with it. Like it's honestly like the best job in the world. I
yeah,
feel
no,
like.
I know that's how this man. I'm telling you, he says 80, but I did the math. His math teacher could tell you his math wasn't that
Yeah,
good.
yeah, that's true.
I sat in the shop and calculated. He does like 100 hours a week,
I probably do some weeks. Yeah.
and he loves it.
Yeah,
And
no, I do.
you know,
Yeah.
I believe you. People need to find that thing that energizes you, and that's how you can never work a day in your life. Like, that's not work. Like, I
Yeah,
love
no, it's
this.
true. I honestly feel like I'm just hanging out with my friends back in high school, cutting their hair, talking.
Nice.
And then now thankfully my friends have money, they have jobs, and
Some of them are firefighters.
yeah, some of they're firefighters for the right reasons. So yeah, so it's going good, man. I mean, I honestly probably wouldn't leave the shop if I didn't have an awesome wife and awesome kids. I got home,
Yeah,
I would just stay
I'll
there and
never
hang out
forget.
all day.
I'll never forget. I think it was Anthony. Was it Anthony that you showed me the picture? He's like, I don't know if this is good, Rick. My
Yeah,
son, they asked my son to draw a picture of his family, and it showed like the family at the house, and he drew me at the barbershop.
yeah, I was behind the chair. Yep, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm blessed, man. It's crazy because I have a friend who told me, Vic, man, you don't want to look back at your life and see yourself behind the chair all the time, and I always remember that. So I honestly try to balance things now,
yeah, yeah. No,
But
yeah.
it's tough, man. It's tough.
Yeah, I know
You
you.
know, raising a family
Yeah.
and barbering at the same
He
time.
does take off Sundays though, and he,
Yeah,
he
dude.
leaves a little early on Saturdays. And
Yeah.
I think Wednesday he does some stuff too.
Unless my son has a tournament on Saturday, then I'll take Saturday off and then work Sunday. But yeah,
Okay.
you know, that's another good thing about barbering, man.
Yeah,
Like,
flexibility, freedom.
thankfully, yeah, my clients are real understanding. And
I'll never forget. I'm not trying to bag on you, Vic, but
no,
this is
you're
funny.
good,
Like,
bro. I bag on myself
this
all
is
the
why
time.
a lot of us
Yeah.
got filtered into barbering because we're just not regular employees. Like, we can't do it. And
Oh man.
I remember back in the day, I told you I had the vision for the shop. I'm like, yeah, I wanted to be disciplined, like, you know, like in and out.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh,
if you're
heck
late at
yeah.
in and out, they'll fire you. And you're like, yeah, I know. I'm like, you're like, I used to work in it. I'm like, what happened? He's all, I got fired. I'm like, wow, I was late. I'm like, oh, my bad.
I've literally been fired from every job I've had, for being late. Yeah, no, I think back, and now that I have employees, I look back and I'm like, dang, I was the worst employee that people probably have ever had, you know. Oh man, that's bad. Yeah, in and out
Yeah.
being one of them. I was always
Yeah.
late, and yeah, it was. Maybe I don't know. So,
You know
yeah,
what? Some of us were not meant to be like employees like
that's
that. I'm
true.
telling you.
Yeah.
And yeah, he wasn't the best employee for me either. To be honest with you, I'm glad we're good friends because this
yeah.
is real talk. Like,
No, hey man.
like we
yeah,
tried
for
to make
sure.
something work, and
I know what I am and what I'm not. You can't offend me.
Yeah,
Trust me, Rick.
so,
You're good, bro.
but I mean, Vic was great back in the day. I want to tell this story because I think it's good for people to know. Like,
yeah.
sometimes you find out you're forcing these to like go away they're not supposed to go. Like, you're
Oh,
always
yeah.
supposed to like do your own thing. And I'm like, hey, let's team up. Like, you know, I got this vision. I think like, and in reality, I'm like, and you're like me. I'm the same way. Like, I know me.
Yeah.
I'm not a good employee. Like, why
Yeah.
would I want to hire somebody like me? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
and I'm like, I got this idea, but it was like designed around employees. And I'm like, hey, Vic, I got this plan. Like,
Yeah.
we should do this, and you know, come work for me. And then I like, you know, you can go do your own thing. And then like, long story short, it didn't end good. And I'm like, hey, Vic, like, what will it cost you? And you're like, I'm like, what do you make at your shop right now? I mean, like, well, I'm like the manager, kind of like they give me like 75% or 70%. I remember what it was. Like,
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, I'll give you 80. You're like, 80? All right.
Heck yeah.
And then we go do our thing. You know, we're crushing it. We're
Yeah.
like famous, Nick, Vic, and Rick.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I mean, we're getting rid up in the paper. We're busy. We're grinding, and then like,
Oh, yeah.
but back then, like Vic did things a little different than I was trying to do. I'm like, Saturday
Yeah,
roll around.
no.
Hey Vic, where
I
you
saw-
at?
I still had those bad habits.
And then after a while, I'm like, and we had good times too. But then after a
Yeah.
while, Vic's like, you know, what about my end of the deal? You know, like I was supposed to do my own shop too, and I'm like,
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah.
And
Dang.
then
Yeah.
I'm like, and I look back, I'm like, you know what? I was too controlling. I was like, you know what? Deep down, I'm like, you know what? Vic's better than me.
Nah, no way.
I'm like
Heck
he
no.
might care. So I'm like trying to hold on to you. I'm like, no, you can't go. Like, hold up. Let me do this
Yeah.
first. Let me like set this shop up first. And then, like I says, I'm so glad we talk like we do now and have
Oh,
the
yeah.
relationship we have and gone through the things we've gone through. But back
Oh, for
then,
sure, yeah.
we I don't know what happened. Like we clashed, and I was like, I think ultimately what it was, correct me if I'm wrong. Like you realize, you know what, I got wings to spread. Like I got to bloom,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, no, for sure.
and I didn't really have a plan like I thought I did back then.
that was just always my plan, just to do my
Yeah.
own thing. It wasn't so much clashing. I think it's just always I wanted to
yeah,
have my own shop. I never thought I'd be working in it. I thought I would just own it and be
Yeah.
a firefighter, you know, just have it
Yeah.
on the side. But after before I went to work for you, yeah, that was my plan.
Yeah.
Work for you for 2 years, learn all I could, and then take off. And it's crazy because it actually worked out to the day. Like July 1st, I came to work for you, and then July 1st, 2 years later, I'm opening up my shop, and
Yeah.
you know, so
Yeah. So tell me your perspective of all that. Like I kind of have my own thing, but like I want to know like what was going through your mind at the time for the audience, because I think this is good content, because I think a lot of shops go through this. Like what happened? What could I have done differently? Or maybe nothing, but or maybe a
Yeah.
lot of stuff, but
yeah.
just Tell me what was going through you at the time, like.
As far as like opening my shop
Yeah,
and
yeah.
doing all
Like, how
that.
did you
Oh,
know,
okay.
like, you want to do, and how did you
Yeah.
feel about me? Like, was I holding you back, or you know what I mean?
No, not
Like,
at all, man. Not at all. I mean, I think, real. I think for me, I have thankfully, I would think matured a little bit since
no doubt.
that time.
Me too. Me
You know,
too.
for
Like,
real.
like, no, no,
Yeah,
no, me too.
thankfully, I
Like,
think that's all it was, man. I think I just needed to mature a little bit more and look at things, differently. So
yeah,
yeah, I'm definitely glad though for the time that I got to spend with you at the shop.
yeah,
For real, like
yeah,
I always tell, I always tell people like, oh yeah, this one guy, this one smart dude, told me one time, and I was talking about you, a lot of things
yeah,
that I do still are because you did teach me while I was working with you, and they work, man. I
yeah,
honestly feel like that's why I am successful,
yeah. And
I'm,
it's good.
yeah,
And honestly, looking back, I was insecure at the time in a lot of ways. Like, I was like,
yeah.
I didn't. I was
I would
intimidated in a
have
lot of
known.
ways. And this is what I'm saying. Like, I matured too, so I'm comfortable talking about it. But at the
Yeah,
time, and some of it was pride too. Like, I believe, like, no, I can make something so good.
yeah. No, yeah,
Like, he'll want to stay, and I'm like,
nah, you
and I
can
was
do
trying
it.
to
Yeah,
and look, now I understand relationships better. Like, no, you have to know who's who. Like,
yeah,
you're always destined to be a shop owner. Like, we
yeah,
were always supposed to be having the relationship that we have.
yeah,
Of, you know what, we're like, we have a relationship where we're able to exchange ideas and thoughts and
yeah,
information, and we have our own lanes, but we come together like how we were in barber school.
yeah,
That's the relationship we have now. And
for sure.
I try to like think, oh, you know what, I can kind of like, I mean, I didn't try to, but subconscious, like, I just want him. I want to have control over Vic because I don't want him out there competing against me.
Yeah,
You know what I
nah,
mean?
yeah,
Like,
yeah. I feel
at
you.
the time, you think small mind.
Yeah,
I definitely thought bigger minded than I did growing up, but
yeah,
it
for
still
sure.
needed to grow a lot to where I
Yeah,
realized, wait a minute. In a lot of ways, like, we're actually not competitors, we're allies. And that's
no,
where I've
yeah,
matured a lot.
definitely.
Like,
Yeah,
no, like, we're allies, like supercuts and great clips. That's who we're competing. Mom and pop shops need
yeah.
each other.
Oh yeah,
Like, there's so many, I
for
could never
sure.
cut all the heads that need to be cut.
I know it's true. Yeah,
And it evolved. And then,
even me working so many hours. I mean, there's a lot of barbers out there still, thankfully, busy and
yeah,
raising their families. Making a
yeah,
living. And it's like, man, even though I'm putting in those long hours, so
yeah,
I remember, I used to work for a guy in Upland, and he told me like one time, like you can't cut them all. Like there's enough for
yeah,
everybody,
yeah,
and I always remember that. It's true. It's like, man, like
yeah.
I'm not competing against any other barber out there. Honestly,
No, you're not,
the
because
guy,
nobody does it the way you do it, Vic.
nah, I honestly feel like I'm probably like,
You're like, if I could think of an athlete, you're like Steph Curry
nah,
with
not
3-point
even.
shots. Like nobody's gonna do as many haircuts as you
Yeah,
do, and like people look at it like, oh, I ain't even gonna try. Like, I worked.
yeah,
So long story short, I went full circle. I did a bunch of other stuff and moved out of state and sold my shop, and I came back and I worked
yeah,
for you for a little bit. And honestly, I had a lot going on in my life. I'm like, I can't hang. I don't know if I can. Like, I'm not gonna be able to be like keeping up with Vic here. Like, I gotta like have a different plan because I don't think I can. I'm
yeah.
not. Vic's just built different.
I don't know. It's so funny because there was a barber that worked for me for a little bit, and I told him, "Hey, you gonna go have lunch?" He's like, "I'm a machine. I don't eat. Like I'm a machine. I don't have to eat." And I was like, "Damn, that's true. Like he does work pretty good or whatever." But I feel like I'm not a machine, but no, I feel like I was honestly meant to do this because
Yeah, I
my
love it.
hands don't hurt, my back don't hurt,
That's what
my
I'm
feet
telling
don't
people.
hurt, my
This,
eyes don't get dry. Like I just feel like I was meant to do it, man. Like
yeah, I
I
remember
am where I should
my
be.
wife had to pick me up one time. My vision. I was working so long and so hard. My vision started going blurry. I thought that
Yeah.
just happened in the movies. I'm like, I called my wife, like, you got to come pick me up. Like, I can't even. I'm trying to finish this haircut. My vision's going blurry.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
and I was working like crazy, but
And it's crazy too. Like, I think a lot of things, well, obviously help me to work the hours that I do, right? So I don't have to worry about my kids. My wife, takes care of all that.
yeah, you run
And
a real
so,
traditional home. Huh?
yeah. Thankfully, it's working out where she gets to stay home and I'm working. And but I could think back to my cousin. he worked construction in Mexicali, and he even told me he worked in the fields for a little bit, and he would work 12 hours in that heat out there in the fields with just a machete and cutting lettuce for 12 hours. I'm like, dude, if he could do that, I'm in here with the AC, with the radio,
on
with my
pad.
echoes on, and on a rubber mat. Like, you know, my chair goes up and down. Like, come on, I could at least do 12 hours. And so thankfully I'm able to do a little bit more than that.
Nice.
So
Yeah, that's true.
I think all those things help me to, you know, just thinking about my family and people that have worked, you know, harder than me. Like, all right, like if they could do it, like I could at least do this, you know.
Yeah.
Thankfully not having to worry about anything but cutting hair. So
that's great.
Yeah, I'm blessed, man.
And you've been having your son like start learning, right?
Yeah, my oldest son, Anthony. Yeah, he's 17. He's about to be a senior next year, graduate. He doesn't know what he wants to do. He said he wants to be a firefighter, but for the right reasons, a firefighter and a barber or construction. You know,
he ain't gonna tell you the other reasons.
And I'm gonna ask him, hey, why do you want to be a firefighter? No, so he's actually been telling me he's interested in barbering. So I told him, hey man, I mean, even if you don't do that as a career, it'd be cool to pass down my knowledge, you know.
Oh, that's so great.
So
like,
yeah,
I believe, like I've had this theory for a while that I've been thinking a lot. Like I believe society is geared, like the system, the machinery of the political powers and stuff are like geared towards separating fathers and sons, you know.
Oh no, yeah.
There's a scripture talks about turning the hearts of the fathers to the children and the children of the fathers, and it has a lot of other implications spiritually, but just on a natural level, if you could like restore that, I always tell people, I'm telling you, pick any trade, barbering, plumbing, gardening.
For sure.
If you do that for 3 generations, your family will be set up because you'll build off of it. My sons told me that, I don't know if I want to be a barber. My youngest one now is like, I don't want to be a barber. But my older ones, I set them down. They're young, like 11, 8, and 5. And I said, hey, listen, let me tell you a story. There was this basketball player. His name's Dell Curry. Great three-point shooter. He had a son, couple sons actually, but one of them, they're like, they could have did anything. They'd be like, nah, I don't like my dad. He's always traveling and stuff. Like, I'm going to do something different. I'm going to go be a firefighter, you know, or whatever. But they chose to follow in their father's footsteps, you know, and now we all know his son's name, Steph Curry. He emulated his dad's style and everything and built on that and became the greatest three-point shooter ever, and he's still jacking him up. And then I said, hey, there was another basketball player. His name was Joe. And he waited in the NBA. He had to be good. I mean, we don't really know him. Like if I told people back in the day who he was, you wouldn't really know him, but you'd recognize the last name because his son followed in his footsteps, and his son had a unique first name. His name was Kobe. And he followed in his dad's footsteps, built off of that, and became one of the greatest NBA players ever. And I told my sons, I'm like, hey, look, I'm not the best barber ever, but I'm pretty good. And I know my way around this industry. I said, you could do whatever you want within reason. I said, but you're going to know how to cut hair. But I'm telling you, like, you could start this, like, right now. You're like 11, 12. I could teach you how to fade now.
I remember your son cutting hair.
Yeah, a little bit.
Shop on Vineyard and Foothill.
And I'm like, hey, that was my nephew. My son got his first haircut on Vineyard, and we moved to Milliken.
Oh, I remember him cutting hair somewhere. It might have been a picture I seen or something like that. They're like, yeah, his son's cutting hair. I'm like, he was standing on like a little booster.
Yeah. Just let him feel what it's like.
Oh, okay.
But those things multiply. Like, I guarantee you, Kobe Bryant's dad didn't wait till he was 18. All right, son, now if you want to play basketball, go try out.
Yeah.
Nah, as soon as he could crawl, he probably had a basketball in the crib. And like our sons, they're around it all the time. I told them, you're learning more than you think. Like when I learned how to drive semis way back when I had a different job, and my boss always told me, I was in the passenger seat, he's like, you're learning more than you realize. You know what it sounds like shifting the gears because you're sitting in the passenger seat. I told my sons it's the same for you. Like, you know what a good haircut looks like. You can tell when a fade ain't right.
You know what questions to ask the client when they
and you think it's normal, but you have an advantage. Like, you could build off this and become great at it. By the time when you're 16, I just found out you can get your apprenticeship license at 16.
It's only 1,000 hours now, not 18 or 15. Whatever
Yeah,
we
by
do.
the time you're 18, be fully licensed, have a clientele.
Yeah, I'm like, dang, you could do, your license in 6 years, not 8. Like,
Yeah,
like,
we started late. Like I started
yeah,
in the shop when I was 22. I've known I wanted to be a barber since I was 14.
yeah,
I'm like, if I'd have had this path, like I'd be set. And I told him, I said, you do whatever
yeah,
you want. They're like, Dad. I'm like, what do you want to do? So he's like, well, I want to have a chicken hatchery and an airplane salvage yard. I was like, okay, that's great.
yeah,
You
that's
need to
cool.
buy some land.
Yeah,
How you gonna buy the land? I was like, you can do what I'm telling you. By the time you're 30, be financially independent.
yeah,
Because I'm gonna throw all the numbers out there, but you can make good money as a barber. I mean, after I get
yeah,
my
no,
cut for
sure.
training you, but
Yeah. I know, yeah, man, I gotta get him in here working.
but it's it's great. Now when you told me about that, I was like, oh, that's like the best thing that could happen. Then the bonding that
Yeah.
happens there is great.
No, for sure. Yeah, definitely, man. I definitely want to teach them. Like I feel like I think any profession you do really like. I've talked to like people who like or have a pool service,
Mhm.
them, or like gardeners, people that have tree services. Man, these
Yeah.
guys make a lot of money. I mean, they all have one thing in common: like they're good at what they do, and they like they're not shy of working hard. Like
Yeah.
putting in hours or building their businesses. So
Yeah.
I told my kids, I'm like, whatever you want to do, I'm fine with it. Like as long as you're good at it and you're willing to put in the hard work, and you'll make a good living.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, honestly, I always tell my kids, I'm like, look, just all I want for you guys is just to be good people. That's it.
Yeah,
I don't
that's
care if you get
good.
straight A's or, I mean, that'd be nice too, for you. But I mean, honestly, there's a lot of smart people out there that I wouldn't be proud to be calling them my son. And I'm just that's what I try to
Alright.
just tell them. Like,
Yeah. That's good, Vic. That's
yeah,
good.
but, yeah.
That's good. I mean, I think it's important. I think you're a good example of how to balance it all out. I think a lot of owners, they miss the part. Like, what are you working for? You don't want to like
Yeah.
get to the top and be by yourself. Like.
Yeah, no, that's true. Yeah, it's crazy. I've been getting into like country music a little bit.
All right.
Yeah. So I was like, man, I need to write a song.
All right.
I have a good idea for a song.
All right, let's hear it.
And all right, hold on. No, I'm not gonna sing, but no, it's just crazy because you're talking about balance, and I'm like, dude, that's the key, honestly, to life. I feel like that's what I've been talking to my wife a lot about, like just balance. Like I need balance. I think we all need a balance, whether it's work or you can't be partying too much or working too much or having you just need to balance everything in life, right? So I know for me, like my I guess. When I started working a lot of hours was when I went to work with you on Vineyard and Foothill. I was working 7 days right before I got married. I'm like, all right, well, I have Sundays off. I'm gonna go cut hair at Camp Pendleton, So
Oh yeah, I remember.
yeah, so
That was. I forgot all about that. I was a little jealous about that too. It sounded good on that man. So remember we went to the hair show. We'd always go to the hair shows. We met that man with the Angry Bird shirt.
who was it?
I don't remember his name, but he was
the
down.
guy who cuts hair fast, or
No, that's Ivan Zoot.
oh,
we'll
Ivan
talk to him
Zoot,
later.
yeah.
But that's another story.
my bad, I was that.
We'll have you on soon. But you met that man, and I kind of secretly wanted to go try it.
Yeah,
And then you went to go try it, and because he's all telling us like, yeah, you can make really good money.
yeah.
You do like what do you say, like 50 haircuts a day or something, and
oh man, these guys cut.
and
hair fast,
and I was trying to be secure. I'm trying to be like, yeah, Vic, I want the best for you. Go do it. And I was like, oh, he ain't gonna come back. Like he's gonna go make all kinds of money. And I was waiting. I was like, I'm not waiting for you to come back and tell me how it was. I'm like, I'm like, hey,
I can't.
how was it, Vic? Go ahead.
I didn't make a lot of money, that's for sure. I mean, man, it was just crazy because I'm down there and I'm cutting these guys' hair at down at Camp Pendleton, and I'm like, man, these guys are serving our country, like they're protecting us. I can't rush their haircut,
Right.
And I just can't. Like even now, like if I finish a haircut and I'm like checking, I'm giving people change for whatever they're paying, they're making their payment, and I see something off on their haircut, I'm like, hey, bro, sit down real quick. My bad. Like you have like a little piece of hair, bro. I just can't let that leave,
Yeah,
So
yeah.
when I went down to Camp Pendleton, I'm like, man, I feel bad, rushing these people out for all they're doing for us, and I can't just, do it to anybody really. So it's just,
Yeah.
I started taking my time or trying to hurry up, but take my time. And people are like, "Oh, dang! Like, man, it looks nice. Like, when you work?" And I'm like, "Oh man, I'm really not gonna make no money." They're gonna start, sitting with me and expecting it. So,
Yeah. How much were the haircuts there?
oh man, I think it was like $7 a haircut, and I
Yeah.
think we got like 4 out of the 7. But if you're doing 100 haircuts,
Yeah, it's $400.
yeah, plus your tips, So, but I wasn't doing 100 haircuts. That was the problem. But yeah, that was right before I got married, so I was like, man, I need a. Oh, but back to what I was saying, man. So I was working. I've been working a lot of hours. Going back to my country song real quick.
Okay.
I've been working so many hours. Trying to. I think at the time, I was saving up to get married. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna work a lot. And my wife's like, okay, that's fine. Like just go ahead, you work. I'll take care of the kids. And all right, cool. I started working a bunch of hours with you at your shop and saved up, got married. And then it's like, all right. Hey, I think my sister, my brother-in-law, the Choas, that's what I call them. That's how everybody knows them. But so, anyways, they're like, "Hey, you guys should buy a house, and we'll help you out." And then I was like, "Man, what do you think?" She's like, "Yeah, go for it.
Yeah.
Work, go ahead and work. I'll take care of the kids. I got it."
Nice.
All right. So I started working. We save up, buy the house, right? And oh no, my bad. First came the shop. So then I got married, and then I was like, "Hey, the Cholas, right? That's how everybody knows them. They're like, hey, we'll help you open up your shop. Like if you want to do it, go for it, and we'll help you out. We got you. All right. So I work a bunch of hours, and I save up, open the shop, and then everything's going good. And they're like, hey man, I think you guys should buy a house. We'll help you out. Don't worry about it.
Hey,
we
but
got you.
back up, time out.
Yeah.
Hey, didn't you have an issue with Gil?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know where Gil is. Gil's crazy. Okay, for the audience, Gil, I won't give his last name. Protect the guilty.
Yeah.
But picture Jim Carrey on the Cable Guy on crack.
Oh yeah,
that was
sure.
Gil.
That's a pretty good, example
and
right there.
And I remember back then we didn't have a lot of trust yet with each other like we thought we did, and we were like both trying to do our own things. And I was like, trying to tell you, I'm like, hey, so I'm leaving the little shop. We go up in the bigger shop. That's like kind of when you're wanting to make your leap.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, I want to take over this shop. I'm like, okay, well, let's make the clean break first. I'm like, because I don't want you to like benefit from just the walk-ins right there. Like those are our people we built up,
Yeah.
But I was also trying to tell you, I was looking out for
me. Yeah,
I was,
I know,
but I know we didn't have that relationship trust. You're like, nah, he's trying to block me.
Look at this hater right here.
For real, so I could have. But I didn't do a good job of building that trust. I'm like, hey Vic, don't deal with Gil. Trust me, he burned me on some stuff.
Yeah, a couple people told me not to.
And you're like, and the city tried to warn me. They're like, hey, I can't tell you anything, but you might want to Google the landlord. Wink, wink. I'm like, it's good. Like it's such a good deal. It's like. Perfect spot, like what could go wrong? And it was like a nightmare situation. Remember they put the weed shop next to us and found out the vents are on the same system, and
we're all there getting contact high.
First time I walked in there, I'm like, hey, who did the drywall? He's like, I did. I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, my dad can straighten it out. It's all right. And then just weird stuff. Then I found out he lived on the property, which was weird. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah, he did the wiring. It was all shot in there too.
Yeah, and then
I remember you turn on the lights and the toilet would flush. No, it wasn't that bad. But
so then what happened? Like
what happened with him in that situation? Man, that was a long time ago.
Yeah, I really was looking out for you at that point. I was like, you know what? I can't let Vic go down like that. Like this man is shady. I'm like, hey, trust me, do what you want, but be careful with Gil. Like don't deal with him. Didn't you like keep your deposit or something like that?
I don't even remember really, but you know what? I had already started construction on the place, and it didn't end up working out. So like, I lost that money, so. It's kind of bummed out, but I remember my sister, she's always told me like, hey, God's got a plan for you. Don't worry about it. Don't stress over that stuff. It's all right. He's got something better for you. And I'm like, no, you don't get it. This shop's so cheap. Like, it's like my people already know where to show up.
They bulldozed that building.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah, that's crazy, man. I wonder what's going up, man. But yeah, I learned a lot there with you, man. It was cool. It was
Yeah.
a good 2 years I spent there with you. And but yeah, little did I know, man. Freaking, my sister's always been right, man. God has a plan for me, and He has
That's
something
good.
even better for me. It's crazy. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
I have so many stories about that
So
where
many
I'm
times
just,
one door closes for a better one to open. I remember I told you too, that
yeah,
happened to me a few times. Like
yeah,
I tried to force the door open and it was locked. I'm like, oh, okay.
yeah.
And then I realized, oh, because on the other side of there was something just not as good as what was really what God had in store for me.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, definitely, man. So, I mean, I lost out on that. I think it was maybe my deposit. I'm not sure what, and the money for the construction. My
Yeah.
brother-in-law probably didn't even charge me, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, I remember
Yeah.
I remember
So.
talking to him when he was building out your Upland shop.
Oh, okay. To my
Yeah,
brother-in-law.
yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah. I went over there. He was
Damn.
real nice.
Yeah, yeah. Real cool dude, man. Yeah. Yeah. So when I was saving up for the shop, right? I've been working a bunch of
And
hours,
you
and
just got married, right? Or
I
did you
just
get
got married.
you got
Yeah.
married before you opened the shop, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I got married
I remember.
2012, and then
I,
opened the shop 2013.
Another thing I was jealous about was that cinematic proposal you did. Like that was good. Like I was
Yeah.
like, hey, Vic has some artistic, creative flair. Like don't sleep on the introvert over here. He's thinking the whole time.
No, yeah.
Hey, you should tell that story.
Yeah. All
Yeah,
right. Man.
how you
Okay.
did that.
So 18, I proposed to my wife, and it was a terrible proposal, and she's always told me, like, man, you owe me a real proposal, like you owe me a good one. And I was like, all right, yeah, whatever, kind of just laughed it off. But in the back of my head, I'm like, dude, I should do
Well, you
something.
talking about when you were 18 years old, you proposed to her.
Yeah, we didn't get married till years later.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I had to mature then too. Yeah,
yeah.
so and I'm thankful I didn't get married back then, because honestly I wasn't ready, man. But okay, so then she's like, you owe me a real proposal, like a good one. Yeah, okay, whatever. So then 2 weeks before I get married, this was years later, I call up my cousin, and I'm looking up videos on
Wait,
YouTube for ideas.
2 weeks before you got married?
2 weeks before I got married.
Okay, got you.
Yeah.
So you already planned the wedding, but okay.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
No, bro, we were getting married like in 2 weeks, and I was like, dude, I never did that proposal for her. So I was looking up on YouTube, asking people, oh, how'd you propose, and what should I do? And I seen this video where some guy had made a video and then played it in the movie theater, and his fiance or his girlfriend at the time was watching it, thinking she was watching a movie. So then I was like, man, I have a cousin, Carlos. He does short films, and I'm gonna hit him up, see if he could do that for me. So then I call him up and I tell him, hey man, like I have this idea. Can we make it happen? And he's like, man, we're gonna have to film like Friday, edit Saturday, and you're gonna do it Sunday. And I'm like, yeah, can we do that? And he's like, all right, man, let's do it. So yeah, we filmed Friday. He edited it Saturday, and we did it Sunday. My wife went to the movie theater to watch a movie she thought with her friend, and before that, we all went into everybody went into the movie theater, sat up on top, and so she walked in, saw people, didn't think anything of it, and the movie starts, and it's actually me asking her mom for her hand in marriage, and then it's just like a funny. It goes from like serious to like funny. My son's driving me to the movie theater to ask her, and she's confused, like, wait, what, are they filming this now? Like, she was kind of confused. And so the part in the movie where the guy walks in, the guy walked into the movie, that's when he walked into actual theater. So that's what I did. I was like, all right, cool. So my cousin films me walking into the movie theater, and because they already told me which one I was gonna be able to rent out. So then I actually walk in, and then that's when I propose her.
Nice.
And I was nervous, even though we were about to get married in 2 weeks. I was still nervous. I don't know why. Like, she really about to say no? I doubt it, but you never know.
Yeah, that was classic.
Yeah, no, that was cool, man.
Nice.
I'm glad I was able to do that for her, and yeah, everybody was able to do it. I asked her mom, like, hey, I need you to come. Like, we got to film it this Friday, and she's like, all right, yeah, that's cool. I could do that. And my cousin
Nice.
came through. Like, yeah, it was cool.
Yeah, we
Man.
had to hit your cousin up. I mean, he's something he gets things done.
Oh yeah, he's talented, man. He's made some good stuff. He's won awards and everything. So it was cool
Nice.
for him to do that for me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good. Yeah, so you get in the shop, get going, And you want to talk about your country song, or you want to talk about the
Oh,
shop?
all right, real quick. All right, so so I I tell my wife, all right, I'm gonna open the shop, and my sister and my brother-in-law, they're like, oh, we got your back, like you should do it. All right, cool. So then I open it, it goes good. Like, hey, you should buy a house. We got you. Don't worry about it, man. And so all right, tell my wife, hey, do you mind if I, just put in some more hours? And so she's like, yeah, go for it. I'll take care of the kids. I got it. So then now it's like, all right, now we got the house, right? So then my brother's like, hey, man, if you want, you can fix your house up. I got you. My sister's like, yeah, don't worry about it. Like, we'll fix it up for you and just pay us
Yeah,
back.
yeah.
And I told my wife, what do you think? Like, we bought a fixer upper. My sister didn't even want us to move in the house. That's how bad it was. She's like, you can't live here. And I'm like, it's not that bad, And then, so, yeah, so my brother-in-law hooked us up. We were able to, that's going to be my country song. Just kind of how, like, you're always working to hit your next goal, and then, man, unfortunately you might look back, and like my buddy told me, I might look back and be like, man, I was always behind the chair, man. Like, it's gonna be a sad song, but maybe I could make it a little
You ever heard the song "The Cat's in the Cradle"?
yeah, you know what, dude, I remember having that conversation with you about that, and
Oh yeah, we
that
did at
really,
the shop.
yeah,
That song
bro.
that song hit me too.
Yeah, no, I remember you telling me that, and man, I listened to that song a lot after you told me about it. I was like, dang, that was crazy, man. That's a good song. Anybody who hasn't heard it, man, they should definitely check that out. It doesn't have to be work, but it could be anything, right?
As we're filming at like 10 o'clock at night and our children are waiting for us, like, hey, but at
I
least I'll have
know.
this video to remember you by.
I gotta go home right now and talk to my son. He wants to talk about his goals for next year, as far as school and
Nice.
work. He wants to work, but he wants to wrestle and he wants to, do all this stuff. And I'm glad, I gotta go talk to him, plan out.
Yeah.
What did it say? You fail to plan to fail. So
Yeah.
man, I'm glad he wants to talk about his goals and set that up. So
That's
as soon as I
good.
leave here, I'm gonna go home and
Nice.
talk it out with him.
Nice.
Yeah.
So, if your son was trying to become a barber, what advice would you give to him?
Man, all the advice you gave me. I mean, I would say like you used to always tell me, like, you want to. I learned a lot from you. You told me, like,
Thanks.
don't give people a reason not to come here to your shop. You don't want to do something to attract people, but that's gonna keep other people from coming here. So I think about that, right? Like, so, like playing rap in a barbershop, even though there's a place for that. Like, there's barbershops where, like, yeah, it works for them, right? But for me, I was like, all right, if I play rap, that might attract a certain clientele, but it's gonna keep, like, the moms that want to come in with their kids, or maybe like guys that just don't like rap for whatever reason. Like, I love rap, but I'm like, I don't want to play rap and keep people away. I'm just gonna play some stuff that, like, is not really controversial, or like it's just something that you would listen to on the radio. Like, I think it's like,
your shop
or something like that.
Yeah, your shop has a really, really good vibe to it.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. I mean, I try to keep it clean. We don't have any TVs. I'm thinking about putting one up, but with no sound. Yeah, because I don't know. When I opened my shop, I remember reading reviews about people complaining about barbers watching TV instead of cutting hair. I was like, man, I just opened the shop. Like, I don't want to fail, like, I don't want those. So I haven't had a TV. It's been, 10 years? July will be 10 years. So
nice.
I haven't had a TV.
I remember being at one of the hair shows we went to. We were at a barber battle thing, and they're like, anybody want to take the mic? Like, tell us something. Tell us a secret you do in your shop that, like, you feel like makes you stand out. And I'm like, they're not gonna like what I have to say. I was gonna tell them. That was one of the things I was gonna say. Was like, one of the secrets is no TV in the barbershop.
Yeah.
And everybody thinks you gotta have a TV. I'm like, think about it. They're like, what about the game? I was like, if somebody cares that much about the game, they're not leaving their house or the bar that they're at watching the game
for sure.
to go get a haircut.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then what happens is, or you watch a movie at the shop.
Yeah.
The client walks in midway. He don't know the plot. The barber knows the plot, though, and it's like getting down to them. Oh, wait, hold up. I've been there. I've experienced that. I'm like getting my haircut. I'm like, I don't care about the movie. I don't even know what's going on. I walked in an hour late, Yeah. And this barber, he's enthralled in it, like, oh. And I found that's all it does is distract the barbers.
Yeah, true. And if it's like I remember there being stuff on TV, it's kind of inappropriate for, like, kids or something. And I'm sitting there at shops like waiting to get my haircut from a friend or like a barber, and it's like, man, like I feel uncomfortable because there's like women in here and children. It's not anything like bad, but just just things that like cursing, like in the movies, something like that, where you might not want your kids listening to.
Yeah.
So.
And something I learned from an old barber too, he was like, listen, actually I heard it secondhand from Steve, who I hope is going to be on the show soon, but he heard it from Carlo, this old Italian barber that used to run the Upland shop, and he was like, you never put a TV in the barbershop.
Was that the same guy that said, you never put cold water on the client?
Oh, probably. Yeah,
I
probably.
remember you saying that one time.
I don't remember that, but yeah,
so
probably.
I put hot water in my water bottle before I spray it on people. I'm like, I don't want to put no cold water on people.
I don't even follow my own advice. But he said, you never put a TV in the barbershop. He's like, they can watch a TV anywhere.
Yeah.
They come to have a relationship with you.
Yeah.
And he said, listen to me. He said, if they come to the shop one time, they're our client. If they come to the shop 2 times, they're family.
Yeah.
And it made sense. Like, that's what you're building, that relationship.
Yeah,
like, if they're there for the TV, they can get that anywhere.
Yeah, no.
And they can go to someone who's got the TV and they're $2 cheaper. Mm-hmm. But if they go for the relationship, the experience, which we have, that community sense of barber. You know what it's like, this channel's going to have so much more value. As you talk to barbers, I want it to be the hub where you have barbershop conversations, where you go there. It's therapy for men.
Yeah, no, that's the best part of the job, man. Like, like you want to take your wife out to a nice restaurant, you're going to have 20 suggestions by the end of the day, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's the best part of the job. Sometimes, like people come in here and they'll kind of like get something off their chest.
Most of the time, you'll have somebody find out, oh, you know what? I'm the manager over at Fleming's or whatever. Let me hook you up.
Oh man, that was crazy too. I remember.
Just don't get nobody in trouble.
No. I was gonna say like, so growing up, I think I don't know if it's just. No, it's not just. I think it's like for older generations, like they like their meat cooked all the way through. I think it was just a fear of getting sick. I don't know what it was.
Some of it's cultural too, like other countries. I know, like my wife's family from the Philippines, they all get their steak well done.
No, because I mean, I know some like one of the barbers. She's telling me her family, they're Irish. They're like they get it well done. My family's all Mexican. Like we get it well done.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying, I was going to go somewhere there, but back in the day, like they. This culture that's passed down. Like if you didn't have good refrigeration and stuff, to prevent getting sick, like you better cook that thing all the way through.
Yeah. So I didn't know any better. I remember
same thing.
We're going to Fleming's and you're like, get it medium rare, and I was like, nah, bro. Like we get it butterfly cut, well done. Like
I probably just learned it 2 months before, and I'm over there putting you on game. Like, hey Vic, let me show you the way. I just learned it 2 months ago. You know what I mean? Because I grew up the same way. I didn't even like steak growing up. Really, I'm like, it's all right, it's chewy.
Yeah, I would always put A1 sauce on my steaks growing up. So we would go to Spunky Steer in Chino. Have you been there? Spunky Steer.
You know what?
Central in Philadelphia.
They just closed down, right?
Oh, did they?
One of the owner's son or whatever comes to the shop I used to work at, and
okay.
They ended up. We did a little event. They kind of sponsored it, but then they like shut down right after that, right after COVID, kind of. I think.
Okay. Or maybe they remodeled or something. I don't know.
Right. Hey, plug to them if they're still open. Go check them out.
Yeah, I know. It was my fault. I was ordering the steak wrong. Like a butterfly cut well done. But so me and my wife go to Fleming's because Alex and the manager there, they gave us some gift cards, right? So
shout out to Kyle.
Oh yeah, Kyle. Yeah, that's right, man. Yeah. So we go to Fleming's. And, all right, we're gonna order it medium rare. So then I'm eating my Cajun shrimp, right? And my wife, we shared a steak. So then she took a bite of the steak, and then she started laughing, and I'm like, what? And then she's like, it's melting in my mouth. And I'm like, what? So I put down my shrimp. I'm like, let me try this. Oh man, I've never ordered a steak well done again. Now I'm trying to tell people like, hey, you're doing it wrong. Like you gotta order it medium rare, at least medium, dude.
Yeah, someone told me one time that's why they keep the lights kind of dimmer in a prime steakhouse.
Yeah.
So that you don't really like see how red it is. Because they say it's gonna taste better, but we don't. Some people visually they're not prepared for it.
Yeah, they think it's blood or something, right?
Yeah.
It's like chemical, or I don't know what it is, but it's not blood. But yeah, somebody sees that, man, they want to pass out. Like that's another reason why I don't want to be a firefighter, man. I saw the pictures of what these guys have to see, just the pictures alone. I was like, man, I was about to pass out. So I was like, nah, I'm good.
Nice. Yeah, so you back to the shop. You
advice, what would I
You well, yeah. What advice would you give to your son? Yeah, getting into it.
Well, so
Well, a young barber start now, but you have the reality of like your son,
yeah,
possibly doing it.
yeah. I mean, I think there's definitely like, man, there's so many ways to run a shop, and I don't think my way is the best way. I just think it works for me, like I know for you, I think you were the one that said like, oh, I'll never do walk-ins again, and then like recently you're like, I'll never do appointments again. Like we've been learning like
I've
there's
been on a
different ways
tour.
of doing this.
I was just telling someone earlier like, there's so many different. I didn't even touch that subject like walk-ins versus appointments, and it's something I want to talk to a lot of the
We could
barbers
talk
about.
for hours about barbering,
Like,
bro.
would you
It's
rather?
crazy.
Yeah. So I mean, I've worked in like all three of the main kind of shops I would consider. Like, you got your like high-end like boutique shops.
Oh yeah.
You got your kind of professional average shops, and you got your like low budget, high volume family barber shops.
For sure.
And I've worked in all three, and honestly, I kind of made like around the same money in all three. Like, some of them you're just doing maybe less haircuts, making really good money. Honestly, the one I made the most money in, but it was hard for me to get used to it, was when I was in Alaska.
Yeah.
Shout out to Flat Top Barbershop. Gotta get my friend Alan on here. He gave me a great opportunity, and I was blown away. Like, I walked. I'll tell you the story real quick. I think I told you this before, but back then we charged a lot for what it was back then, and around then California booth rent would be like 180, 200. I show up, I'm trying to do a little barbecue food truck. My wife's like, hey, go see if that shop's hiring while you're doing your paperwork, while you're waiting for all your stuff to come to the city.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right. I get there on a Friday afternoon. Friday night, I got a job at this shop. I wasn't even looking for a job. It was called Flat Top Barbershop. And I'm like, how much a haircut? He's like, $18. I'm like, you do commission, booth rent, or what? He's like, I charge $70 a day for booth rent. I'm like, so let me get this straight.
Yeah.
You charge less money for haircuts in California, but you charge more for booth rent? Like, that's, if I work 5 days, that's $350 a week.
Yeah.
You're charging almost double booth rent, and your haircuts are almost half the price.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
This don't make sense.
Yeah.
He's like, look, just trust me. Just try it out. You work tomorrow. I'll tell you what, Rick, if you don't cover your booth rent, you don't got to pay it. I'm like, I can't lose. Fair enough. I go there. My first Saturday, it was so easy, and I had a lot of downtime, and like, I'm doing these easy haircuts. After I gave him his $70, I cleared $500. I'm like, oh, I've been doing this wrong. But it was hard for me at first, because like I did the same thing. Like, now you can't just do that anywhere. It was the perfect storm, because in Alaska the motto is function over fashion. People don't care as much about their hair over there. You have to be in the right demographic for that, where you have a high population of people that just want a basic haircut. They're like, give me a 3 on top, 2 on the sides, block the neck.
Yeah.
And they're not getting the straight razor, and they're getting no hot towel and scalp massage. And just, and it was hard for me at first, because somebody come in for a fade, and I'm trying to make it perfect. And like, hey, can you hurry? I gotta go. Like, I just came in for a quick cut.
Oh, they would hate me down there.
They're like, you're spending too much time on it. And it was hard. I had to like reacclimate, and then I did it. And then once I got in the groove, like one Saturday I cleared 800, and I'm like, and I wasn't even tired. And I used to tell them like, hey, they're like, what are the hours? Like, 9 to 5 or whatever. I'm like, what if I want to stay later and grind? Because I'm paying my booth rent. Can I do that? They're like, why would you? I'm like, to make more money. They're like, but the people will come back tomorrow. It's all right. And I'm like, all right, y'all don't get it. I'm from an era in California, we grind, but then like they helped me to see a different way of doing it. And I'm like, there's more than one way to skin a cat. Like, and once I got in the groove, I got a really good Saturday. I cleared like 800. I'm like, okay. But it was hard. I had to like retrain my conscience. And I had like a whole army of people that I trained and indoctrinated in like, my way is the best way. This is the right way to do it.
Oh, for sure.
And I remember calling up my brother-in-law who I trained, and I'm like, hey. And he was like denouncing me as a false prophet. Like, nah, this is the way. You showed us. Like,
your brother-in-law? He cuts hair?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
We won't
Okay.
talk about it. Sensitive subject. But
I'm trying to think like, do I know this man? Okay, but
we don't say his name currently.
All right.
But anyways, yeah, he was like, no, you showed us the way. I'm like, I know, but
Yeah.
maybe I was wrong. But then I came back to California. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do what I was doing in
Yeah.
Alaska. I'm gonna do it in California. And I'm like, oh, it's not the same. People care about their hair. Like there's only a handful of people that are like the people in Alaska. California is different. They're fashion over function. Like
Yeah, I think you could do it here. It's
a
gonna
little
take
bit.
some time.
Yeah,
Thankfully with like you said, social media. I mean, people can find you there, and then they'll type in your address. They'll show up right at your doorstep. I mean, that's what you taught me, right? I remember thinking like, man, I'm on a foothill. It's gonna be good. And you're like, you
yeah,
don't need to be on a foothill. You could be anywhere. People plug in your
yeah,
address once they find you online. They'll show up to your doorstep. Don't worry about it.
yeah,
Yeah, you're right.
yeah. So how's it been? Like I know a lot of barbershop owners. Probably the biggest struggle we've all dealt with is finding and keeping barbers. Like, tell me some of your successes and struggles with that.
I mean, man, going back to saying like I'm not competing with anybody but myself. Like, I feel like I'm my worst enemy when it comes to that because I didn't go to school for business management. Like I found out like you, bro, I'm telling you, you taught me so much stuff, bro. you told me like you could be a good baker, but doesn't mean you could run a good bakery, right? So
Yeah.
I realized that
Shout
about
out to
myself,
Michael
man.
Gerber from the E Myth Revisited.
Oh yeah, all right, cool. So yeah, thanks, man. Cause
It's on the books.
yeah, I need to read more, man, or hang out with you more. But
No, I'm dyslexic. I get it all on Audible. My wife always
yeah,
corrects me. I'm like, oh yeah, I read this book. She's like, husband, tell the truth. You listen to it. I'm like, it's the same thing. I
yeah,
put the
you know what I mean?
information in my mind.
Your wife does that too? No, no, it's fine. But yeah, I think I didn't go to school to learn how to deal with employees or how to.
Yeah.
So there's been like some growing pains, where
Yeah.
I wish looking back now that I've learned like I should have done things different as far as like how I maybe made things that were like not such a big deal. I made them a big deal, and things that were a big deal, I kind of just let them
Mm.
just go. Like I feel like that is been my biggest problem. It's just me. Like the people that worked for me, like they've all been great. I think if anything,
Yeah.
I could have maybe coached them a little better, or just gave them advice. Maybe came off, more as that advice, not
Yeah.
me like telling them something. But my biggest problem, and my wife always tells me, she's like, you let things go, and then at a certain point, you're just like, all right, I'm done with you. And people don't even know. They're like, wait, what? Like I thought we were cool. Like nah, like
You're like, nah, this has been bothering me for 2 years. Nah.
yeah.
Nah, I
Man,
remember
so,
when I was working with you, I'm like, Vic. I remember I was like trying to work against me. I'm like, Vic, you're charging me too little in booth rent.
yeah.
Like, like you're too nice. You're letting people get away with like too much. Like,
Yeah.
just like you got to make money too. Like, I'm like, nah, I don't. Like, you gotta,
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, thankfully,
shout out to Vic. I'm telling you, Vic will treat you too good.
no, thankfully, I mean, I was telling some barber actually was looking for a job recently. Like he was saying that where he's working, they're charging too much booth rent, and he's not making that much money, and then the owners only care about themselves. But I'm like, honestly, bro, I'm like, I'm only allowed to do what I do because I have like a cheap rent. Like you don't know those people's situation. Like they might
Oh,
have
that's good
like
perspective, Vic.
they might have a lot of bills, or they might have a little high rent where they're at. You don't know how it's set up for them. So
Yeah.
don't take it personal. Like there's shops where you're gonna be able to make higher, or not only that, but like for me, let's say you come here and I'm paying you a certain percentage, and somewhere else they're paying you less percentage, but the haircuts are more. So
Yeah.
you're really making the same
Well,
amount. So
Yeah. Remember that story I had with I'll try not to name anybody, but yeah,
I know, I was like, man,
I had to fire him. He had some issues he had to work through, and then
I got like 10 people in my head right now thinking about it.
he had narcolepsy. No, but he no ADA violation. That's not why I fired him. All right, but I had to let him go, and he went to go work at another shop, and I might not get all the numbers exactly right, but let's just say he went to a shop that was charging $14 for haircuts, and he told me they were paying him like 70%.
Yeah.
And by the time he came back, we were charging like 22 or something, and I'm like, or 20, I don't remember, but, and he came back, and I'm like, well, this is what I pay, barbers is 65%. And he's like, but I feel like I'm worth more. I was like, I do too. That's why I'm offering you this job, because you'll make more here. He's like, but I just feel like I'm worth more.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, no, like, me too. That's why I'm offering you this job. I was like, if you can't do simple math, I can't hire you, because if you look at it right, 65% of 20
they're stuck on the
is more than 100. Like, that's like 100% of 14.
Yeah, they're taking it probably the wrong way or not looking at it the right way.
And I was like, wait a minute, I get it. And I'm like, you don't want me to make money. I was like, because we got a problem, because I want you to make money.
Yeah, for sure.
And you should want me to make money. And I'm open about, like, I'm here to make money, and I'm here to make you make money. And I said, if I pay you too much, George, I'm going to, anybody can be named George.
Yeah.
But
yeah, you know what though? I mean, it goes back to like he just had to learn, just like you and me had to learn. Like,
exactly.
You know, like we thought we knew the way, and it's just like, man, once you get older, you kind of like live a little bit longer. You go through certain situations.
Yeah.
You learn. Like I remember when I opened my shop, I was talking to the owner of the first shop where I ever worked at, in Whittier. I worked for her and her husband. They owned the shop there, and they were the first ones that actually taught me how to cut hair. I learned so much from them too. So I told her, man, you got to charge more. You're only charging $8. Like, I'm charging $17 over here, and and she's like, oh really? Like, how many haircuts do you do in an hour? And I'm like, oh, like one. Maybe I'll get like one, and I'll
1.5,
be like,
yeah.
yeah, 1.5. And she's like, okay, well, I do 4 in an hour. So who's making more money? And I was like, dang, she got me.
Yeah.
I was like, well, yeah, and I mean.
Yeah.
It's crazy too. That's another they really encouraged me without knowing it, like, to open up my own shop, because they came over here from Mexico. She didn't speak any English, and she already had kids who she would have at the barbershop while she's cutting hair, watching them. And I was like, man, if she could come over here not even speaking English and make it, I'm like, dude, what does I say? Like, I gotta be able to make it,
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
So it's like, man, like that gave me like the courage to be like, you know what, I could do it. Like, if they could do it, like, I know, like, things aren't stacked up against me like they were against her, and like, she made it. She's very successful. She owns property now. She has like this. If you drive on Central all the way up to Chino Hills, she's the top house up there, like the one.
Nice.
So I'm like, man, like, if they could do it, I could do it. That really gave me the courage to do that. And obviously the skills that they taught me, like, they taught me how to cut hair. And when I left there, I kind of tried to like find a different way of cutting hair. And years later, it just went back to what they taught me. I just went back to what they taught me, and it works. And that's what I do to this day. And that's what I want to teach my son. Like, look, man, they taught me how to cut hair, So.
Yeah. You're very systematic. I learned a lot from working with you. Made me a better barber, no doubt about it, because I saw how you did things like smooth. Like, you actually could cut hair faster, like, but you do what you do. Yeah. But there's shortcuts. Vic will not take shortcuts. I remember what you told me about one of the barbers told you, like, you're too slow. You spend too much time cleaning your tools. You're like, what do you do? You're like, I don't clean them. I just do. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, that was dirty. But yeah. But yeah, that definitely.
You remember that client we had from he was like a manager for UPS.
Oh, Dale.
Yeah, I was gonna name him. Yeah, Dale. No, it's all good. No, Dale. Yeah. And he was like trying to help us out because we were always late on our appointments. He's like, I'm gonna come in here with a stopwatch and a clipboard. I'm gonna get you all like synchronized like UPS. Don't worry, I'm a manager there. I know what to do. Y'all gotta like video record yourself and watch where you're making like unnecessary movements. And we did learn. We started talking more like, hey, how can we perfect our systems a little bit to where we're not wasting time? And
it's a whole nother. We should do like a assembly line.
Yeah,
I'll cut the sides. You line that was funny.
Yeah, we were getting foolish. We were ahead of our time.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah. What was I gonna say about advice? Well, real quick, man. Before this ends today, this session, Rick, you're being real humble, but man, like, you honestly are. Like, I could say you and my cousin Angel, right? Like, I would say you guys are probably like the two most versatile barbers I know. Like, I know, like, for her, the one thing is, yeah, anybody could walk into her shop. It could be a whole family. Let's say the dad wants dreads, the mom wants color done, the kid wants a flat top, the daughter wants layers. Like, she could do all those things.
Yeah.
You know, she's so versatile. You know, it's crazy. But that's the same for you, man. Like, I honestly feel like you know how to do so many things. Like, I'm still learning from you. I don't know if you forgot. You must have forgot. You taught me how to do beards like a month ago or something. Like the last time you were at the shop, I'm gonna be asking you like, "Hey, bro, like, how do you do beards?" Because I'm
That's
lost
funny.
over here.
And what helped me though was working with people like your cousin.
Yeah.
Like the first shop I worked in was a hybrid shop. It had a barber shop in the front and the little salon in the back. And like
Yeah.
I would learn scissor techniques by watching those girls. I'm like, oh, okay, that's how you do it. And then it helped me
Yeah.
when those kind of hybrid haircuts first came, when they wanted like a pompadour, but they wanted a tight fade. I'm like,
Yeah.
and a lot of barbers, like stylists, could do the top, but they couldn't do the taper.
For
And then
sure.
barbers would do the taper, but like, oh, I can't handle the scissors on top. I'm like, oh, I'm set up
Yeah. Oh yeah. For
and
sure.
cleaned up. But
That's what I need to learn. Still, actually, you need to teach me how to cut long hair. If it's
Really?
past your shoulders, like, I'm sorry, I can't help
I
you.
prefer
out.
not, like, I'm not teach you, but I don't care to do it as
Like
much.
long
But
hair? Oh, okay.
we're having to learn because you look at all the high schoolers now, they all got long hair again.
Yeah, they're starting to.
A lot of
starting to
them,
have
I should
like,
say all, but yeah.
yeah, or like they'll have like that long curly hair on top, and then they'll have a taper on underneath.
Yeah.
Some people are asking for like mullets now.
A lot of my broad skill acquisition came from a standpoint of I know I'm not the best. I know I'm not that good, but I'm going to work really hard at being able to do whatever. I remember like when I first started, I wanted to be so good at cutting coarse hair that somebody's willing to transcend the racial barriers and be like, you know what, I'm going to sit with him.
Yeah.
He's
for
not
sure.
like my people, but I see how he gets down. And I made that a goal of mine.
Yeah.
And then I remember flat tops. This old man, great client of mine, he actually came to my wedding. Everyone thought he was my grandpa because my grandpa wasn't around anymore. They gave him like a front row seat at my wedding. And but he came to me and he got a flat top and I butchered it up.
Oh.
I'm like, I'll never see him again. But I tried my best. I could tell I cared. He came back and asked for me. I'm like, what? I was like, all right, if this man's gonna believe in me,
Yeah.
I'm gonna learn how to do flat tops so good. And I remember I finally got it down to where I was like, I used to dread him coming in. I got to the point where I'm like excited, like, oh yeah, I can't wait till he comes in. I'm ready. I'm on flat top mode right now.
Yeah. All right.
He walks in. I hadn't seen him for a little bit. His hair's growing. I was like, I'm changing it up. I want to do a pompadour now. I'm like, I was ready. He's like, I know. He's like, that's why I'm doing something different now because you got that down. I'm like, whoa.
Dang.
This man just sensei'd me.
I know. Miyagi do real quick.
He
man.
did, and I learned something there. I was like, you know what? And I taught this to younger barbers later. I was like, you'd be amazed.
Mhm.
Don't be intimidated about being inexperienced. You'd be amazed at how many people want to be part of your success and part of your growth. And you just be
for
open
sure.
and honest, like, hey, sir, I'm just learning.
Yeah.
And some men are like honored, like, you know what? I probably know more about hair cutting than you. I've been around a long time. Let me teach you how to cut my hair. And I've had that happen so many times. I would tell barbers when I would look for young barbers, like, you got to be teachable because believe it or
For
not,
sure,
the client will teach you how he wants his haircut.
yeah.
And so much of how I got busy wasn't that I was so good at cutting hair. I became really good at listening and following instructions from my
Man,
client.
That's huge, bro. Because I remember learning how to do a fade finally, and my sister asked me to cut my nephew's hair, or maybe I asked her if I could cut his hair, but I was like, man, she's gonna love it. Like, I'm gonna give him a fade, but she didn't
Yeah.
want him to get a fade with a 0. Like, she wanted him to have like maybe a 2 at the shortest.
Yeah.
And I had to cut his hair, and she's like, you know, she's so nice. She's like, oh, I mean, it's nice, but like, I didn't really want it that short, you know. And like, I was like, man, that's when I was like, man, I really need to pay attention to what clients
Yeah.
are telling me. And I remember that first barber who taught me how to cut hair, he told me that he learned a lot from his clients. He's like, honestly, like, I learned from them. They were telling me, like, I kind of want it like a little bit shorter here. Or I kind of want it like flat. And he actually listened and was able to figure it out, you know. So
Mhm.
I was like, man, I'm going to do that. I'm going to learn a lot from my clients, you know. Like, I learned how to comb hair from my clients because I'm
Yeah.
not very good at combing hair. I'll
I-
comb their hair a certain way, and then I see them out, somewhere out in the streets, and I'm like, oh wait, that's how you comb your hair? I'm like, damn, looks way better than what I did.
Yeah. I remember my grandpa when he was still living, and like I wish he was still alive, just so I could show him. Like I know how to cut hair now, Grandpa, because
Yeah.
I messed him up. But he actually started. He taught me some things. He's like, you know what? Because he got to where he was kind of debilitated. It was hard to get out, so he couldn't go to the shop. But didn't know what I was doing, and so he's like, you know what? This is what my barber does. You know, that's how he sections the hair, and
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
But you know, he still takes a lot of reps to get smooth with certain things, and but yeah, you got
Yeah. Man, yeah, that's crazy. There's so many people out there that I could seriously think about that have taught me certain techniques. You know, like I went to barber school in Pomona before I went to barber school in San Bernardino.
before you started working on your doctorate in barbering,
Yeah, for
right?
sure. Yeah,
That was
my
your
undergrad.
associate's degree. No, you went to undergrad in Pomona.
Yeah, so I remember there was a barber, Chad there, and he owns a barbershop in Pomona. You should have him on, man. That dude's hilarious.
Chad, why does that sound familiar?
Nick used to work for him.
Nick did? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nick, that's the one
Yeah.
who told me. Oh, and Nick, we're going to get a round table with me, you, and Nick for
Yeah,
sure.
all right.
But Nick told me that Chad told him, he's like, hey, Nick, go learn how to cut hair in a city you don't want to work in. So
Yeah.
that's why he came to work for me. He found me on Craigslist. The only time I ever advertised on Craigslist, I hit the diamond in the rough. Nick had no
Yeah.
experience, but you know, we've never known somebody as good with people as Nick.
Oh no, yeah, for sure.
And
definitely, yeah,
but
knows.
Nick's plan was, he told me later, yeah, my plan was just to go learn at your shop, and then I was gonna go back and work for Chad at his shop, but he wanted me to learn first.
okay.
But I was like, no, when I saw you, I'm like, you're everything I'm looking for. If I could just give you
Yeah.
the skills, you got the intangibles.
Yeah, he's got that swag to him. He's
Yeah,
like,
he
you know,
always
like-
he always knew the temperature of the room. He knew how to dial it up, how to dial it down, how to
Yeah,
control,
for
like
sure.
how to say the right things to the right people at the right time.
Yeah, for sure.
And he always kept it smooth. And I'm like, Nick, you're priceless. I remember I used to be so jealous of my Yelp reviews because it was like perfect 5 stars. Nick got me the first bad review. My wife was like, you got to fire him.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, no, I'm telling you, he's special. He just
Yeah.
needs time. Like, and then, you know, he evolved into like a great barber. Now he's got his shop out in the desert, Nick's Barber Lounge
Oh, yeah.
out there in
Dang.
Cathedral City, I think.
Oh, okay. Dang, nice.
And
yeah.
his shop's doing really good.
Yeah.
And, but I stuck it out with him, and you know, at the time he lived like right around the corner from the shop, so it made sense. Then he moved out to the desert, and
He was
you know,
riding his motorcycle to the
he-
shop.
yeah, he fell in love. That always ruins a barber's career. They fall in love. I'm like, you're worthless to me now, Nick. And then, but he kept making the trip for a while. Then just got to be too much, and ultimately, you know, did his thing, and then went full circle with him too. And now he's running his shop, and it's going good.
Yeah, that's cool, man. Yeah, no, I'm happy for him, man. I definitely had a lot of good times at that barbershop on Vineyard and Foothill, man. We had some good laughs. Honestly, man, that's another thing with my shop. I feel like I'm just lucky. Like I know my kids, you know, they're little prayer warriors. That you need some prayer, hit up my boys, man. They'll pray for
Nice.
you. I know I got a lot of people praying for me, but I feel like I'm lucky. I'm always busy, and I give credit to that, and also like the fact that I'm just lucky enough to attract like people that are just down to earth, you know. And it's
Yeah.
like, man, that's what I
Yeah.
love about this job. Like you get to like meet really cool people,
For sure.
and I remember thinking like, man, I'm so busy and I don't have time for people because I'm like new people are coming. I want to like stop taking new people. But then I'm like, man, I'm so glad I didn't do that because people move away. But
Yeah.
not only that, like I've met so many cool people after I've thought about doing that where it's like, all right, I'm going to close the books off. I'm not really going to take any more like walk-ins. I'll
Yeah.
let the other barbers take them. But I was like, man, if I would have did that, I wouldn't have met this guy. And like, man, he's so cool. I remember
Yeah.
so many times being at the shop where like, man, we've had like some good laughs where I'm like crying. I can't even breathe. And it's like, man, this job's so cool, you know, that you,
Absolutely.
yeah, for sure. Heck yeah. So.
That's good. Well, we definitely got to get together again soon. It's been so good catching up, Vic. But
Oh yeah. Oh man. Yeah. I feel like we kind of jumped around, man. We didn't really touch like.
oh nah, you know, I think we needed to just get some stuff out, and then we'll get down to the nitty gritty, add some real value to the viewers.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Yeah. Sounds good. Yeah. Hopefully I'll be back in here soon. We'll get Nick
Yeah.
in here.
Yeah, it'll be good.
Yeah.
Be real good.
Yeah.
All right. Take care.
Cool. Thanks, man.